Welcome to another one of our short conversations about youth work during the COVID-19 pandemic. My name is Mike Gilsenan. I'm one of the joint programme leaders of the BA Honours Youth and Community Work at Newman University. And today we've got Tom. Tom, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your project?
Yeah, so my name is Tom Muirhead and I'm a youth worker with Birmingham City Council Youth Service. I currently have two roles within that. One role is around participation, and that is coordinating a youth council for Birmingham for the youth voice. And then also I work on an employability project called Youth Promise Plus, where we more or less work with young people 16 to 19, but we can up to 25, who are not currently engaged in education and training, and we give them a wraparound service in collaboration with the career service to get the young person from not engaged into becoming engaged into a possible destination, whether it be training, college or apprenticeship.
Right, so there's a couple of quite different projects then, sort of one being sort of youth participation, sort of forum type work and that kind of stuff, and the other being, that very sort of engagement, employment, education, training sort of thing. So I would imagine there's some real differences in how you've had to shift and change. So do you want to talk a little bit about, however you see fit, in turn or in between each other, about the changes that you've made and some of the creative work that you've had to undertake during?
Yeah, so it's very, very different. For the participation side, I have two distinct roles. So within the participation, it's coordinating a group called Birmingham Aspiring Youth Council, and it's open access group for anyone 11 to 19 can join up and get their voice heard. The group is consulted by many different organisations, councillors, MPs, NHS, any organisation that want to hear what young people got to think and get them involved in the decision-making process and really having a voice heard. And also, part of my role is to coordinate the UK Youth Parliament for Birmingham. So we just had elections in February, and we now have 6 members of Youth Parliament and 6 deputy members of Youth Parliament who also are part of the Birmingham Aspiring Youth Council. So how we've adapted that now is we have weekly Zoom sessions within that. And what's really helped is because myself and my colleague used to coordinate the meetings and used to ask them for the agenda items, but now we've had elections of responsibilities. So really the young people are running the Aspiring Youth Council completely. I'm just more of an observer, and my role is more to get them connected to decision makers and people that can really make change. So basically we've got the chair, vice chair, secretary, we've got 2 wellbeing officers, we've got 2 social media officers, and we've got 4 events and campaignings. So young people have really embraced the responsibility, and it's been going really well. We've actually had a consultation by Dr. Justin Barney last week, who is head of Birmingham City Council's Public Health, and he wanted to hear what young people's experiences were. We've had consultation with NHS by Amy McLean, who's a senior project worker, about how young people and families are experiencing the healthcare system during COVID-19. And we've just secured Deputy Leader, Councillor Vicky Jones, who's going to come to a Aspiring Youth Zoom session on the 23rd of June, I believe. So that's really good news. So, that was part of my role, is to get them to, engage with, decision makers. Yeah. So, and within the UK Youth Parliament, we collaborate and we are signed to the British Youth Council, who do a lot of Zooms and supporting the UK Youth Parliament members and introductions and so on, because they're quite new.
Yeah.
On the other hand, on my mentoring role as working with young people who are not engaged in education and training, the old way would have been we have to go out and find them. So we get lists and names of young people who are, we go and knock their doors, go into their life really, and try and get them out of the house for whatever reason. It could be mental health, it could be any reason why they're not engaging, and we try and build up their confidence. A bit of a hand-holding exercise really, and get a relationship with them, get them a careers advice, get them a careers consultation, and then try and work to a positive destination. So it could be a young person who hasn't been engaging for a few years, it could be anxiety, or social anxiety is quite prevalent. We will go on the bus with them, show them where to go, just be that significant other, things like that. But now, now I've got a caseload, so now I just have to regularly contact them. We use WhatsApp, we use a phone them regularly twice a week. And it's just to reassure them that, there is someone else there thinking of them and supporting them. I always say you can phone anytime that you want, within reason, obviously. And, we're still looking for things online. You can still get a careers consultation by the designated careers worker. So, and then we get lists then from colleges as well, that young people who have withdrawn. So then we follow up that list and following them up and trying to get them, we can sign them up to the program. I can send over the registration form. We go through, it's quite intensive administration, but that takes time. So it's very, you can still do a lot from home.
Yeah.
And as a personal thing, I'm healing at the minute anyway. So I'm trying to, spread myself out as wide as I can, because I probably will be working from home for much longer than others.
Yeah, of course. So it sounds like in your initial descriptions of the two projects, then, that the youth forum work, it sounds like that's a relatively easy transition over to sort of wholly sort of digital and virtual. Yeah. And it sounds like that's something to do with the fact that actually the Aspire Youth Council is already sort of established and set up. So all those practical things where perhaps they would have ordinarily been in meetings and all together, such as the elections and all of that, and the sort of elections of officer roles, are quite easy to transfer over to, sort of the Zoom platform and that kind of stuff. It sounded like, though, when you were talking about the sort of engaging young people in employment, education and training role, that whilst you're able to still engage with the people who are on your caseload, as it were, it sounded like just when you were starting to talk about it, that is it more difficult to engage people who you've not previously worked with, or is that still just as possible using the telephone?
Well, it would be different because Youth Promise Plus mentoring part, it is about face to face, the real work. You go on, you meet them regularly, meet them, you go into their houses, and meet families and kind of collaborate with families to help the young person. Obviously, that can't be done, but you can still sign them up to a program. Even young people that I've never met, they're willing to meet virtually as well. But you can still talk to them and explain your role and what you can offer.
Yeah.
And they're happy to sign up if they're willing to engage. Not all young people are willing to engage. That's their prerogative. But they have to want to, they have to sign up to the program. And as long as they understand what they get. So it's different. I understand what you're saying. Participation has really just fell in nicely. If anything, it's enhanced it. The work enhanced it. It's focused on people, especially when some of them are not in education because, they're in year 11, 13, so they've had a lot more time on their hands.
Yeah.
So if anything, they're more proactive with the Youth Promise Plus. It is limited. It is limited, of course, because we can't be there physically. But we're hoping to, when we start reopening centres in the future, that maybe the first step would be we will be doing outreach and detached rather than centre-based work. That's our kind of things we're looking at, our phase 2 plan as a new service.
Yeah.
So going to where young people are, obviously in a safe capacity, rather than opening buildings and having less, restrictions.
Sure.
But that will be our first. And during that outreach, we could, potentially knock doors and talk to them from a distance and introduce themselves, things like that.
Yeah. Got ya. So it does sound like it's very much a sort of looking towards, if you like, the end of this pandemic. Do you know what I mean? That it's very much this is kind of what we're doing now. In some ways, as you said, some of the work has been enhanced in the sense that you can actually be much more focused when you're, in a Zoom meeting and sort of work to particular agendas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's like this. It feels like with both of the pieces of work that you're doing, that there's a general kind of consensus that this is almost like a holding thing. This is what we're doing now, and things will get back to normal once the pandemic is over, kind of thing.
There is that, but I think it'll be different. I think we'll embrace some of this work because I find it really useful. We could meet regular, so when we're, in the real world, as it were, we used to meet fortnightly or monthly, depending, and there's logistics to that, and there's a lot, people have to travel and everything. So we could alternate it. Maybe we could have a virtual meeting one week, and we could have a real time. I think that is the way forward. I think there's ways we can adapt and use this form of virtual meetings.
Right. Yeah. So that's good because so there's, so I've spoken to a couple of projects previously, and they've, like you are now saying, that actually it's made them and the young people kind of think about how they might actually use sort of digital youth work applications more in the future as well to. Right, so there's some learning that's come out of this pandemic, and so it's going to, whilst there is a semblance of getting back to normality, actually the experience of using Zoom and all of the other different applications means that people are, you think the people are going to be much more open and much more ready to kind of expand the way in which we work with young people in future. So that's really interesting. I mean, I guess as well, social media has been, it's very established, isn't it, George? I mean, lots of people, of all ages are using social media anyway. So actually, it's not in terms of using the computer or using a device to talk to somebody and communicate with somebody. From many people's perspectives, it's not unusual anyway. So okay, good one. Right. Well, thanks for that, Tom. Excellent. It's been really interesting talking to you.